Welcome to the 27th Letters podcast. Right now, we got the one and only Maurice Ager. If you don't know, you know what I mean? The man, the myth, the legend, the more, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
you know,
All
uh,
that. Mhm.
Mo, how we get down with this conversation is like usually I start with your mom because none of us start our story doesn't start without our mom. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
who's your mother? Like, who is she, and where were you born, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. My mother's name is Maddie Ager. She was actually born in Alabama. She moved to Detroit later on in life. I think I want to say in her late teens, somewhere around there. Yeah, I think she was a late teenager when she moved to Detroit, which is big. It was a big deal back then, bro, to move from down south all the way up north. You know what I'm saying? Considering all the stuff that was going on in terms of man, the racism back then was that shit used to hit different. So it's like, so moving to Detroit was kind of like a real come up. So, yeah,
Okay.
she lived in Detroit. And, yeah, I was born and raised in Detroit. So, yeah, that was cool deal. You know what I'm saying? Having someone from down south, man, and having that blood in me. But yeah, man, mom's is everything, bro. Mom's is she raised me, just her. You know what I'm saying? And my sisters and stuff like that. You know, and my mom was very instrumental. But I say the main thing I could say about my mom, looking back now, that was the most important thing was she gave me my space to be able to just do my thing. You know what I'm saying? Don't you know how they say we choose our parents and stuff like that? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Before we come down here. So it's like I feel like I chose the right mom just because she let me be who I needed to be. You know what I'm saying? She gave me the freedom a lot of times. Of course, she was still a mom, and like she just let me get away with anything. But I was able to move around a lot, man. I'm looking back, I'm like, dang, man, she really allowed me to, you know what I'm saying? Looking for you know what I'm saying, all of the women I've been with in my life, you know what I'm saying, my mom was the only one that was allowing me to just be me, you know what I'm saying, and be free. And of course my wife not, but you know what I'm saying. So it's just kind of crazy. They say you marry your you know what I'm saying, your wife is like your mom and stuff like that. And in so many ways she does remind me of my mom in many ways in terms of just allowing me to just be me and do myself and have the time to be able to, you know, grow into the person I need to be and operate in my own personal development and my purpose. So yeah,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
mom's, you know, she's
She allowed you to blossom.
dope into music, you know, definitely, bro, definitely.
Okay. So your dad, did you grow up with your dad? Was your dad around at any point?
Nah, he wasn't around, but you know, I used to see him every now and then. You know, we never had any problems or
Was he
nothing
from
like
the
that.
South or Detroit?
He's from Mississippi. He's from Mississippi. He moved to Detroit too. But now yeah, my pops, you know, he would pop up every now and then. You know what I'm saying? I think that other great my mom, she never had that, you know, he was um, um you know, I never felt negative towards my pops. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people do growing out without their dad. So, you know, he was into music too. So it was like it was good, man. Music is in the blood, you know, and yeah, I'm grateful for both of them. But he
So,
passed away when I was 18.
oh, word.
Yeah, like 2002.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Did you feel like you missed out on a male role model? Did you feel that absence of a male role model in your life early on?
You know what? Not really, because you know later on, you know, my sister, she had a boyfriend. I met him when he was 8, 9. When I was 8 or 9, his name was Antoine. And
Okay.
I'm actually writing a book right now. You know, I wrote a whole chapter on him, how important he was, and the role he played in my life. I would definitely say he was the most important male figure in my life. You know what I'm saying? In terms of being able to come in at a very pivotal time in my life to show me different things. You know what I'm saying? Because I was raised around all women. You know what I'm saying? Aunties, cousins, all sisters, nieces. So it was like, you know, to have him come through and really introduce basketball to me in certain ways and basically, you know, show me that there's an outlet in terms of using this basketball to go to play at high levels from college to the NBA. So, you know, Twan, he came to my life, you know, at a very pivotal time, you know, and then of course he had cousins. So nah, I was good. I was good. I was good
Yes. So,
eventually,
so
you know.
salute to the men that played a role for this children that ain't necessarily there. So salute to Antoine. You know what I mean? Because I've been doing some research leading up to this, and I heard his name a few times. Where you mentioned it, like that's the dude that really opened your eyes on so many levels. You know. How many siblings you have?
I got two sisters on my mom's side. My dad's side, shit, I'm not sure. I think like that number changed every time I talk to them over there, but I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with the two sisters. You know what I'm
See,
saying? I know I got a brother for sure over there,
the
at
Papa
least
was a Rolling Stone.
for sure, definitely. It was
um,
rolling.
so what was your childhood like in Detroit?
Man, I had a great childhood, bro. You know what I'm saying? Neighborhood kid, you know what I'm saying? We used to really get it in the neighborhood, you know, basketball, football, karate, you know what I'm saying? It was great, bro. It was like, you know, growing up in Detroit, it was cool because you didn't necessarily know that you were in the hood like that. That's all we knew until we actually start traveling and moving around. But, you know, this was around the time I grew up in the 90s, man. I was born in the 80s. I got at least 6 years in the 80s. But nonetheless, you know what I'm saying, the 90s is what I remember the most. And that was a golden period, bro.
For
Between
sure.
90s and 2000, those were golden years, bro. So it's like, even they, you know, God knew, you know, anything crazy with the kids and stuff like that. You know, guys did their thing. But nonetheless, bro, it was dope, man. It was good growing up in Detroit, man. I gained a lot of toughness, that soulfulness, you know what I'm saying? Growing up in a city where, you know, music is such a powerful thing, bro. And yeah, and being able to experience some of the you know, just the struggle, man, a beautiful struggle, bro. It was great. Yeah, I have no complaints about my childhood, you know what I'm saying, in terms of, you know, what I got out of it. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, I'm writing this book, man, and my childhood is was very, very, very good, you know, and I'm grateful for it, you know, and more importantly, I'm still connected to my childhood. You know what I'm saying? I still got that childlike spirit, bro, and I still feel like
Always.
I'm still that same kid, you know what I'm saying, with just with just more years and more wisdom. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty
That's
much
dope.
how I approach it.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. So what was your introduction to sports like?
Man, just playing around the neighborhood, bro. You know what I'm saying? Playing on crates, you know what I'm saying, in the alleys. You know, it was always just outside with it, bro. We was, you know, whatever was
Was
popping that day, that's
basketball
what we was
always
on.
it? Was basketball the only sport you ever played?
Yeah, football, basketball, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we play a little baseball, you know what I'm saying? It was always we was always active, bro. You know, gym, you know what I'm saying? We was good gymnasts, you know what I'm saying? So we be out in the back alleys on the mattress, on the old mattresses, doing flips, back flips, you know what I'm saying, jumping off of gates, flipping off of garages and shit, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
there ain't no Wi-Fi. Ain't no Wi-Fi back then. You have to get out. You have to get out to connect.
We was getting it in, you know what I'm saying? Like definitely became athletic just from flipping on dirty mattresses, you know what I'm saying? Like playing hide go seek, you know what I'm saying? And just like I said, man, I grew up in a very amazing era, bro, where we really had to get it in outside. Like it wasn't no. We had video games, of course. We plug up the Segas, you know what I'm saying, get the Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and all that cool stuff. But for the main monk shit, outside was it, bro. We was
For sure. For sure.
like these kids get on punishment now. You can't go outside. They cool. I'm good.
They're like, go to your room. Okay, shoot. I got a TV in there.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I
Back
mean?
then we was like, nah, we gotta be out. Yeah, outside was
For
it.
sure.
You
For
know, it
sure. You
was.
don't want to miss nothing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But how were your grades in school?
Trash. Hmm.
Point straight up, like trash.
Garbage.
Oh, Lee. So your recruitment when you finally realized that you could make it playing going to the NBA, how was that recruitment period like, especially with you not having good grades? Like how did you manage to pick which school to go to and so on and so forth?
Yeah. Yeah, I struggled big time in school. I did get decent grades in ninth grade, and you know, I transferred from one high school, Southfield High School, to Detroit Crockett my sophomore year, and I was doing better. You know what I'm saying? I was eligible. You know what I'm saying? I was getting 2.0s, 2.5s, and stuff like that. So I was able to, you know, maneuver. But as far as being like honor roll student, nah, I never really achieved those accolades in school. But um, for me, man, it was a journey, man. I would definitely have to start back in fifth grade. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't graduate from fifth grade. You know what I'm saying? I got moved along because of a situation where I put out a fire in the bathroom 2 weeks before graduation. So it was like, you know, I literally put out a fire, bro. This one
Yeah.
kid put the fire in the trash can, whatever. And boom, long story short, I put it out. principal was like, no, there's no way we can hold this kid back. You know what I'm saying? So the city ended up having a special day for me. You know what I'm saying? Fire marshal
What?
was like, oh, yeah, they honored me,
What?
man, because I saved the school, bro. So they couldn't hold me back. So I got to the fifth grade. And
Straight.
yeah, all this in the book. It's,
That,
like year to get to the ninth grade. And so I was in special education class in ninth grade, you know, I was in 10th grade, moved, you know, so I went to the new school and I was starting to figure it out a little bit, but you know what I'm saying, nonetheless, to get to college, bro, I still end up having to take summer classes my going into my senior year just to be able to make sure I had enough credits and stuff like that. And I made it happen by the skin of my teeth, bro. But um yeah, bro, it was straight willpower, bro, you know, and it was meant to be, you know, at the end of the day, bro. I feel like I did enough to be able to get to Michigan State. And then Michigan State, you know what I'm saying? We had the help we needed up there, you know what I'm saying? Tutors and study halls and all that cool stuff, bro. So it actually helped me become a better student. And, it was more on the line because you definitely didn't want to be ineligible in college. That's no way. So it's like, you
yeah,
know,
because you didn't have the option. Did you? You didn't have the option to go play professional for a year and then come back to the draft and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Now the children got so much
really,
options. They don't have to go to college.
man, they got a lot of options now, man. So, but for us, man, yeah, we have to make it happen.
Straight. Before we move on, how did you get into music? I know, being from Motown and so on and so forth. How did you get what how did your love for music develop?
Yeah, my mom kept me around it a lot. You know what I'm saying? She kept boards on deck. That like my first toy, I think, you know, and just always bumping fire ass Marvin Gaye and from the to the Temptation, Michael Jackson. It was always cracking. You know what I'm saying? She would always tell me a lot of stories about music. You know, being in the Glee Club in third grade. Writing. I started writing when I was like 7, 8 years old in the
A
basement.
word?
You know, with the homies, freestyling. Yeah. Just writing little rhymes and stuff like that with crayons. You know, but it was music was just it was always fun. You know, it was always something that was it always felt like something for the soul for sure. And
What were your
I
influences?
kept it
Like,
close, even with basketball.
who were your influences coming out of
Definitely
Detroit?
like Marvin Gaye.
No, out of Detroit hip hop scene.
Well, early on,
Yeah,
yeah, shit. Eminem, Royce 5'9". Those were my two. You know what I'm saying? And I would definitely say those two. Yeah,
yeah.
Em and Royce.
M is a beast. I don't know, like I guess sometimes I feel like this like quote unquote reverse racism, as you want to call it, because they don't want
It's
to
weird.
give M. They don't want to give M his credit. Certain people in the culture don't want to give M the credit. Even I'm hearing Melly Mel, uh, uh, some people saying, "Yo, Eminem is just a guest in hip." It's like, yo, this we all humans in this planet. Stop this nonsense. Like the man grabs the mic and
Yeah,
kills it just like the next person. So I don't think his hue or his skin color has anything to do with the fact that he's that great. The man is just that sick. You know what I mean? So yeah, M was a is
yeah,
a
yeah. He's dope,
yeah.
and
And then
he's also acknowledged. His current status and who he is and how that helped him. He's acknowledged that.
yeah, he's that
And one
yeah, he
thing
knows
people
that.
could
He
never
knows
take
that.
away from him.
He knows
Yeah,
that.
nobody can never take away the fact that he's never cheated the craft. Period.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
no.
He's always been studious. He's always paid homage. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those guys who I believe outside of his daughters, rapping is the most important thing to him.
Straight,
You know,
straight. And then when you look at it, you look
so
at
if he
Doctor.
was,
When you look at a person that you ended up working with later on, I won't touch on that. Dr. Dre, 50. He's the one that brought those guys back, made them relevant.
for sure,
He made Dre relevant again, and then he brought life into 50's career. You know what I mean? And these are all
yeah, he put
joints.
50 Cent on. Put 50 Cent on. He
Yeah,
put a lot of guys on, bro. You know what I'm saying? He even revived Royce 5'9" career.
yep.
A lot of people don't like him, but D12 is still worldwide because of him. But I understand it. We live in a new era where everybody's pro black, black power now, and people starting to kind of You know what I'm saying? You know, and now they want to just throw Eminem in the mix as well. But it's like he's not a culture vulture, man. He's definitely admitted
Nah,
that black people,
nah,
or quote unquote
nah.
black people, have saved his life. So you know,
Come on.
you got to give him his credit, man. He's definitely put
Like,
his work in. He don't cheat the craft, and he's here for the long haul, bro.
oh, for sure. And rest in peace, Proof, yo. You know what I mean? Because he's one of the
Definitely.
gods, yo. D12M. I was on those guys. Devil's Night album. Eminem's first three albums were crazy to me. Like I rinsed that. Like the Eminem show, I rinsed it. Like it's crazy. But
That's fact.
your recruitment. Listen, we all seen He Got Game. Was your recruitment anything like He Got Game?
Yeah, it was something similar, bro. We had certain similar situations like that. Yeah, for
Double
sure.
D's.
Yeah, that was my man named Chase. What was his name? Sip Rogers. Um,
Yeah.
but nah, it had some similar situations to that, bro. You know, every school had its different, you know, parties and stuff. Um, I enjoyed the recruitment period. You know what I'm saying? Towards the end, it became a lot more strenuous because, like I said before, man, it came
The
uh,
business, the
yeah, it just
business.
became strenuous because it was just too many things going on. The business side of things, stuff like that, man, kind of overwhelmed me a bit as a 17-year-old. But yeah, it was definitely dope, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a good time visiting schools, especially early on in the recruitment period, getting letters from school right away from 10th grade and up. That was always a dream, bro. Like, if you watch old movies like Hoop Dreams, you know what I'm saying? I grew up in that era when, we used to watch them get recruitment letters and I'm like, oh snap, I want that. I want to, experience that. And I got a chance to experience it. So I'm happy about
Excellent.
that as well. But
Excellent.
yeah,
Excellent.
it was dope, man.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear because I know you refer to Hoop Dreams as a beacon for you, where you're like, oh man, that could really happen. And then when you start getting those letters, it's like you're fulfilling this dream. Even down to when I remember when you said Marbury, watching Marbury get drafted and seeing him cry, you're like, you were moved by that. Even as a young, I think you're in grade 7. You said you even cried
Yeah,
when watching Marbury cry because you're like, I didn't know people cried because they were happy. You know what I mean? So that was
never
new to
seen that
you.
before. Yeah, that was crazy.
So yeah, so that was new to you. So eventually, when you got drafted, you experienced it yourself. So which
It
is
was
really
even doper when I got a chance to tell him about that. Like later on in life, I'm like, yo,
oh
bro, you know
word
what I'm
out, yeah, full
shit.
circle, full circle.
Full circle, yeah.
Yeah, that's really dope. I love to hear that. Yo,
Yeah.
tell us about your so you eventually chose Michigan State University. Tell us about your journey in college, especially to Final Four and so on and so forth. Because if when you
Yeah.
look at before you go on, if we look at your stats, okay, just to be clear, before you get into it, you have the highest point percentage in NCAA tournament in all of Michigan State's history. You know what I mean? That includes like Magic went to your school. Who else went to your school? Mo P. I know
Steve
Mo
Smith,
P.
Mo
Anderson.
Pete, Steve Smith,
You know
Shannon Brown,
Shannon
um,
Brown.
Draymond Green.
So there's some Hall of Famers that went to school with you, but you are the highest point getter ever for that tournament out of Michigan.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, tell us about
yeah, yeah.
2005. 2005 in the journey.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was the year we won a nice little Final Four run. We struggled early on in that year. I remember playing some really tough teams. We got off to a really rocky start. I remember losing to Duke, early on in that season, down in Cameron actually. And so once we got them in the tournament again, it was like on and cracking. But even just taking it back a little further, that was my breakout year, bro. So before that year, I was actually coming off a double hernia surgery, so I pretty much sat out the whole entire summer. So once I got back, I was actually training and stuff like that. Went up to Michigan State. I was out for 4 months after the surgery, so I ended up going home to Detroit for a little while, working on an album with my cousin. So by the time we got back to Michigan State during, the springtime, well, not spring, sorry, the fall, you know, um, started working out every day with my boy Rashid Johnson. He was really pushing me. I'm saying I give him a lot of credit because he was one of the people who was working with me pretty much every day. He was a player to help me get back better. So I couldn't do much, but he definitely played a huge role. And me having some success in my junior year, So, I start off the junior year doing my thing, bro, getting buckets, you know what I'm saying, scoring, leading. I pretty much led us in scoring throughout the whole entire year. Um, that Final Four run was one for the books because out of all the teams in history, the only team that actually beat Kentucky and Duke in the same weekend. And,
Wow.
that happened, So Shannon
Wow.
Brown went crazy. I went crazy. We both made all tournament for the Sweet 16. And then we ran up against North Carolina, who had like 7 NBA pros. And the crazy part is my boy Allen Anderson, he got hurt, saying that the game before
Ex-Raptor.
he
He
had a
used to
knee
play for the
surgery.
Raptors.
Yeah, exactly. So he had a knee problem, bro. So he thugged it out and he tried to play, but he wasn't the same. So I honestly believe if Double A wasn't hurt, bro, I think we would have went on ahead and won that game because we was winning at half.
Listen,
And
I seen the Duke game. I seen what the team looked like, complete with Shannon, you, and Double A. You feel what I'm saying? So
yeah,
like I seen, and then I remember, if you guys don't know, JJ Redick, he got it. He got it like how Kobe did Steve Nash. He got it
oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yep,
You
yeah, yeah,
gave it
yeah.
to him. You gave it to him.
Yeah, man. People talk about that to this day. I actually just released a merch line with the actual dunk.
Yeah, yes. We're gonna get into that into your merch, so on and so forth. Um,
Yeah.
but yo, you know what? There's a game that you played against Gonzaga in Maui. Oh my God. If you have a chance to check out this game, the way you were cooking, you were Kevin Durant cooking, not even like college Durant. I'm talking about NBA Durant. The way you were cooking, fam. And the only
Yeah.
reason why you didn't score more points because you got fouled out. Man at 36 points. Go on YouTube, watch this game. The man, you were cooking. Everything you could do offensively, you were doing it. In and out. Shots coming out the oh my God. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was in the zone that game, bro, and I had a chip on my shoulder as well. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of NBA scouts in the building. We was going against Adam Morrison. I just wanted to prove that I was one of the best two guards in the country. Um, unfortunately, but fortunately, what I'm saying, the referees was on some BS, bro. Like I go back and look at some of those files, I'm just like, wow, it's incredible that they called some of that stuff they called. But yeah, and I was in the zone, bro. It was no stopping, man. We was out in Maui. The weather was nice. I actually sprained my ankle the game before, so I was actually on a bum ankle that game. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Bro. Only
that
the
was
refs,
definitely one of the most.
only the refs could stop you that day. I'm telling you, yo. Not even your ankle could
Yeah,
stop you. Nothing could stop you. If there was an earthquake on the court, that ain't stopping you. I'm telling you guys,
no,
go watch that game on YouTube. It's only like there's snippets of it. The man was
yeah,
cooking. Like,
that's probably one of the best. Yeah, that's one of the best college games ever, bro. One of
bro,
them is
hibachi.
up
Like
there.
yo, like Gilbert would say, hibachi. Like you are hot, fam. You know what I mean? That
Hmm.
was crazy. So now, when did you realize you could play in the NBA? Where you're like, okay, you know what? I could get drafted in the first round, not the second round. Like, when did it become a thing?
Um, the moment when I met Antoine, bro, I was like, oh, I can go there to that playing that. I mean, I knew I was going to the NBA when I was a kid, bro.
Oh, word.
No lie, yeah, I always knew. Yeah, I knew that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, I'm going to the
And
NBA.
you know what?
Anybody? Yeah,
Listen, as much as we could, you know what I mean, say salute to the women that raised you, but having that male role model tell you that you could do this and that it like breathe that life into you, it speaks volume to why it's important to always have some type of male role model around because who could speak that male role model, speak that male language. You feel what I'm saying? And you might have heard it from your mom say, yeah, son, you could go to the NBA, but it's different. It
yeah,
sounds different coming from somebody who plays the game.
yeah. Like definitely, he knew the game. My mom's wasn't really. My mom was like, whatever you want to do. My mom was wanting me to be on the artsy side of things, man. She wanted me to draw and stay tapped in on that side. But yeah, I knew I was going to the league, man. You know what I'm saying? It was just a matter of when.
So eventually, you know what? You were supposed to get drafted by New York because you spoke to Zeke. Zeke, yeah, we already know Zeke is a legend from Detroit. You know what I mean? Isaiah Thomas,
Yeah,
who's also more, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Who's
for
also
sure,
more
definitely.
unapologetically. Um,
Yep.
so So he told you that you're gonna get drafted at 20th overall, but then for whatever reason you went to Dallas at 28. You know, and
Yeah,
and when I hear your story, it's like, yeah, that's another thing. You only played like 5 years in the league, but when I think about the story, if you would have gone to New York Knicks, it would have played different because you getting drafted by Dallas, which was coming off a finals appearance, and you're a rookie. It's hard for you to get any type of burn or development time to play with Dallas, as opposed to if you would have went to New York, who weren't the team wasn't that. Let's be frank, the team wasn't that good. You could have gotten more burn, and maybe your career would have gone a little further. You know what I mean? So, but I guess getting drafted by Dallas was a gift and a curse because it's like you get the spotlight of the team, but you're not getting the burn that you need to develop.
yeah. No, no doubt, man, no doubt. Yeah, that was definitely a great experience, man. Just going to Dallas. You know, Dallas to this day is still my second home. My mom still lives down there. But yeah, Zeke definitely said that. He was like, yeah, man, if you know if you're still around by 20, you won't make it to 21. I was like, cool. You know what I'm saying? So I already knew in my mind. But at that point in time, you know, I didn't know that. You know, I'm still learning the business. You know, I'm still understanding how cutthroat things can be up there. So you know, when I didn't get drafted at 20, I was like, oh snap, you know, it was stung me a little bit. But going down to Dallas was a beautiful thing, man. I love who I've met down there. I love the environment, the people, like the organization was great. You know, I learned a lot. You know, and like you said, if I went to a trash team, of course I would have got more burned. I would have been able to display more, and who knows what would have happened. But you know, I'm a firm believer in that everything happens for a reason,
Yeah.
and I'm happy that you know, the things turned out the way they turned out. And I wouldn't change it, you know. It's just what it is, bro. It's kind of like manifest destiny, you know. So we just gotta make sure that we take advantage of every scenario that we get and be on code for our higher calling and our higher purpose. And I feel like it was meant for me to go there, you know, and being drafted at 28, which is well, they say 28 is a perfect number, right? And I think that's the only that's one of the only perfect numbers. I think it's two of them. So that number has been very vital in my life ever since. And I'm grateful for, you know, people like Mark Cuban, you know, and all of my experience, all of the beautiful relationships I've had down there, you know, women and all that cool stuff. And yeah, it was great.
That's straight, straight. Any memorable game that you remember that stood out to you that as far as that you played in the NBA?
Um, um, Now I find my first NBA start against Golden State Warriors my rookie year. I had like 20 points, you know, so I cooked those guys. But my second year we played the San Antonio Spurs on TNT. That was my first national televised start, and I went crazy. I did my thing. We won the game. Played, I think I had like maybe like 11 points, which is a lot, you know what I'm saying? Considering we had like 4 or 5 other guys, I was getting busy, but you know, it was cool, dog. Yeah, I would say that was one of the coolest moments as a Dallas Maverick. You know, just thinking off the top of my head right now on the court. You know, just getting that starting Duncan and you know Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. This is when they was you know still competing. You dig what I'm saying? So it was good to go out there and get busy against those guys and you know and had that on the books. You know, I still got some of the pictures. I got a lot of those pictures. So it's like, yeah, those are good memories.
Proud. Why did you retire relatively early from the NBA?
Uh, you know, bro, it's so many different reasons. But if I just give you the short version is just you know, a lot of things that was occurring at that time. I was already kind of, you know, I ain't gonna say 1 foot out, but I was always, you know, interested in, you know, going on a journey, you know, and I felt like too much of my time was being taken away from me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I had too many people that were trying to, you know, control my destiny. You know, a lot of people had their hands in certain areas of my life that I just I wasn't comfortable no more. You know what I'm saying? It got to a point where I wasn't really doing it for myself any longer. You know what I'm saying? You have um, so many expectations and you just kind of like, damn, you kind of get blinded by, you know, whether this is for you or not, you know? So it's just like a lot of those things added up, you know, I feel like.
So you're talking about retiring early in the NBA because you felt like the joy was taken away and the business ends of things were just getting out of hand. You know what I mean? And plus, your love for music. I feel like your love for music gave you that freedom. You know what I mean? As opposed to
Yeah,
you felt constrained with the NBA, being in the NBA and whatnot.
yeah. I mean, for me, I just really wanted to live, bro. I just was man, I was thirsting just to go on a journey, bro, and I just felt like my time was being zapped. And after my last season with the Minnesota Timberwolves being released, it felt good, and I felt like, you know what, I want to go on a journey. I feel like I want to go on a spiritual journey. You know, that's what I was telling people at the time. But you know, I was really just tapped in on just, you know, I honestly looking back now, you know what I'm saying, I'm glad I did because it was a journey that I had to go on. But early on in it, I knew I was going on a journey, and I knew I needed my time to do it, and it felt good to have my time, bro. I'm like, damn, this feels good to not to say I'm you know, wasn't responsible and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, but it felt good to have my own personal freedom, bro, and
Yeah,
not having people tell me where to be when he any given time. So you know, and then I started, you know, making music full time, and that right there just felt even better, bro. Just
and, and, and
and
people gotta understand from what, maybe 14, you've been on this basketball journey. So after a while, you got exhausted. You got exhausted, and once the love got zapped out of it for you, you were like, hey, you were
yeah.
essentially Kyrie before Kyrie. If you when you think about it, that's what
Definitely, definitely. I see a lot of Kyrie. I see a lot of myself in Kyrie in terms of just, you know, a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I was a bit ahead of my time. You know, stuff that Kyrie's talking about now is how I felt then,
indeed,
and
indeed.
that's how I definitely felt then. You know,
I,
but
I I understand it. I understand it
yeah,
fully. When you explaining, I'm like, yo, this is exactly what Kyrie's talking about. Like, just, you know what I mean? He how could he feel great about the life he's living, knowing what's going on out there in the world? And for you, you're like, there's more to this life than just me dribbling this basketball.
yeah. And I always took pride in, you know, what I mean, expressing more of myself than just basketball, bro. And it was kind of like I feel like, damn, man, do I got to separate myself in this game for people to see more of who I truly am and what I can actually bring to this world? And you continue to grow into that space. And that's a forever journey, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, you know, people still want to view you as a basketball player, but, you know, and I'm learning even to this day to be like, okay, I can't force nobody to view me how they choose to view me, you know what I'm saying? So all I can do is continue to produce things that I'm producing today and be who I am today. But I can't be who I am today unless I went on that journey, you know. And I look back now, that journey was needed because, you know, looking back, you know, what, 4 or 5 years later, I'm in rooms teaching guys how to make transitions. I'm in rooms telling people what it's like to transition from, you know, basketball into the real world, how things are going to be. And they, you know, we have some mentors, but for them to hear it from a younger guy, you know, it hit a lot different, you know, versus me being 48 years old talking to these guys, these 20, 22-year-old, 23-year-olds about my experience. They was able to relate to me a lot more because I was a lot closer to their age range, and I was making music, so that was still a cool thing. So I believe that, you know, I don't want to say I was a sacrifice, but I definitely sacrificed a great deal of my basketball career, you know, to be able to give back to others because I went out and got in the fire. And like I said, I love everybody. You know what I'm saying? I have no problems with nobody, but there was a point in time where I felt like, um, you know, I was doing it for them. I wasn't doing it for myself no more. And once that became the issue, me already being like a real free spirited type person, you know, it was a little different. And plus, you know, and going back to college, you know what I'm saying? You know, it felt like I was always the one saying like, yo, this shit is new age slavery, bro. I used to always joke around with my homies. I'm like, yo, this shit is like new age slavery, bro.
That's the yo.
And
Listen. That's the more in you, yo. That's you knowing yourself as a more knowing yourself.
yeah,
Like that's just you as a more.
yeah,
Because me personally, I commend you for that because so many people talk about chasing this bag, but they don't understand the sacrifice that comes with it. Like there's a lot of
right,
people who have the bag, but mentally they're not there. They're not mentally stable. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Because they were just it's all about the bag, the bag, the bag. And for you, you're like, listen, I'm fine without the bag. I need my freedom. I need my peace of mind. You know what I mean? Like talk
Yeah.
about it. How did you avoid the trappings of the NBA?
Avoid the trappings. I fell into some of the trappings, you know, the lifestyle, the drinking, you know what I'm saying, hanging out all the time, the women. But honestly, I wanted to fall into it because I wanted to experience those things. You know, I was pretty
But you
strict
never
all the
lost
way up.
yourself in it. You never lost yourself in it though.
No, 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 no. I knew exactly what I was doing when I was doing it. I really enjoyed my youth when I could. I did everything I wanted to do in my 20s. And you know how people say you got certain things out your system. I believe I got it out of my system. I started drinking late though. You know, I started drinking around 21 years old. Michigan State had my drink after Michigan game, beat Michigan, a rival team. One of my homies at a party gave me my first drink, and that's how I knew. You know, my mom always told me that alcohol run in our blood and our family, and from that point on, I was like, it felt like normal to me to drink. I'm like, yo, this shit, wow. And, you know, and it was fun. You know what I'm saying? So honestly, I can look back and be like, damn, if I never would have stopped drinking, started drinking, that could have changed the trajectory, and I'm sure it would have. But nonetheless, man, that's the path I chose, and I was able to experience that, man. You know how the Moors say, you know, a man doesn't learn by being told alone. So
Nope.
you know, I understood what was right, what was wrong, but you know, for me, I really wanted to experience these things because I was so disciplined all through high school, so disciplined my first 2 years of Michigan State, no drinking, you know, barely even was, you know, didn't go to no parties. So eventually, man, you know, I mean, I caved into the lifestyle, so to
Well,
speak. So, you know,
especially,
I'm always going to take, yeah, Michigan
especially,
State.
especially getting drafted by Dallas, you weren't getting no burn. So eventually, you know, it's hard to remain
Yeah,
professional when you're so young. You know what I mean? So yeah, those trappings became
yeah, exactly.
more viable. You know what I mean?
It became so much easier because
Yeah,
you know you're
yeah.
not gonna play the next game, so it's like, oh, we go party. And one thing I feel like I could have, I wish I had more mentor on it in terms of early on, even in college, was the balance. I can't remember anybody teaching me about balance. Like, hey man, it's cool to go out sometime. I was just, and then when I finally got a chance to start partying and stuff, I kind of felt like I was low key rebelling a little bit.
Mm,
You
mm,
feel me?
I get it. I
And then
get it.
you
I
know,
get it. I get it. I
yeah,
get it.
yeah,
It's
but
like growing up.
that's
It's like growing up in a strict household, and then you go to college and you're free for the first time. You're like, what? This is what freedom feels like.
yeah, but that's no blame on nobody, bro. I always made my
Sure.
choices. I made my own personal choices. I made my choices to be clean my first 2 years. I made my choice to have my first drink. That was all my choice. But when I did it, it definitely felt like I was missing out on stuff. And then from that point, man, I really enjoyed partying, bro. Like I really had a good time partying. I love partying, bro. So it's like, I had a good time in the league, bro. Partying, it's just fun, bro. You know, when it was fun. And I'll tell you this, bro. You know, I was partying during the time where social media wasn't cracking like that. So I was able to have a really good time. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure it got back to the team and stuff like that, but it wasn't no John
No
Morant shit.
videos. Ain't no videos. Ain't no videos.
We had a genuine decent time, bro. But you know, just fast forward, man. Yeah, man, I feel like the cons outweigh the pros in terms of me, you know, my basketball experience. You know, I can give you a whole list. You have to get the book for that, but
For
um,
sure. Oh, I'm gonna get
yeah,
the book. I want an
yeah,
autograph. I want a signed copy too. You know what I mean?
yeah.
um, were you able to manage your finances? Because I know you know you didn't play long in the league, so like I don't know how much you made in total, but were you able to manage your finances even though you weren't as disciplined at times?
Nah. I didn't do a good job with my finances. Period. You know what I'm saying? I was, you know, spending money way more than I should have. You know, I was giving money more than I should have. You know, I definitely didn't do a great job with finances for sure. And,
Mm.
being becoming financial, what they say, literacy. You know that it
Literally.
comes later on. You know what I'm saying? Until I got out the league. You know, so once again, this is a part of the program. You know what I'm saying? When I was going back and talking to those guys, and we just like, um, when you're in the NBA, all they tell you, oh, don't worry about bills. You got somebody to do it for you. Don't worry about this. We never, well, at least when I was playing, they weren't teaching us how to, you know, balance, you know, checks and balances and stuff like that. It was like just focus on basketball, and that's what we did. So you know, when I don't have financial advisors no more, and this that, and the other, when I go into the real world, learning how to pay my own bills, I struggled. You know what I'm saying? It was a real struggle for me because from college, everything was taken care of.
Mm, mm.
Then you come into the real world, you know, and the real world doesn't care. You know, they don't care if you wouldn't talk this stuff, you know, because you was working on basketball.
No,
You know what I'm saying? So spent a
no.
lot of time, you know, just learning how to just, you know, transition into the real world and just and yeah, a lot came with that, you know. So once again, I'm grateful that I did it when I did because it's better than me retiring at 36, 37 years old and then trying to learn that stuff. You know, I'm already, you know, 13 years removed and you know, I'm still learning, still growing, still building. But it's definitely, you know, and then with finances, bro, like what is that now? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm
Well,
saying? When banks
listen,
crack,
we know we heard
man,
the story. We hear the stories of ex professional professional athletes who at the end of the career they're broke, they have no money, they have, you know what I mean, they
Yeah.
struggle. So we hear the many stories. So it's nothing new, you know what I mean? And it's just it
Right.
just goes to show you how much of a monster the system is, that if you're not on your P's and Q's, like it'll eat you alive. You know what I mean? All that money you make for the system, they're gonna take it back. You know what I mean? In some way, shape,
Most
or
certainly.
form. You
Most
know.
certainly.
So tell us about the hoop school, your hoop school, because that's how I met you. Because I don't know if people know, like he actually came up there to do a workshop. So I actually met Mo. You know, he came up here. The Morris brought him up. Kenny Land Morris.
Yeah.
For one weekend, we had a basketball camp for the weekend, and Mo was up here, and that's how I actually met Mo. You know what I mean? I got some of the pictures. I'm gonna throw some of the pictures up as you talk. So tell about
Yeah.
the hoop school and where that stem from.
Man, that actually came from I created Moe Hoop School in 2013. So I was maybe 2 years removed from basketball. I was at that point in time where I actually kind of disconnected myself from basketball altogether. I had no interest in it. I was really working on Maurice, you know what I'm saying, and exploring myself and doing other things. So I really had no interest in anything connected to basketball, to be honest with you. So I wasn't playing. And then it got to a point in time where, I started finding myself around the game again. I started getting invited to go speak at different camps and stuff like that in LA. And then, I actually liked it. I really liked speaking in front of kids. I liked giving back and stuff like that. And I'm not just, yeah, I was always, pretty charitable. I was always doing stuff in the community. But nonetheless, it got to the point where I was just like, man, I need to start my own. And I was talking to my friend Stephanie Harris, and she the one who told me, she like, hey, you should start your own clinic. And I was like, your own camp, your own program. And I was like, all right. I mean, and it just felt like it was the right thing to do. I actually hit up Mark Cuban, and just ran the idea by him at the time. And he was like, yeah, that's dope. Go for it. And he gave me a cool little testimonial. And yeah, I started Moe Ager Hoop School in 2013. I partnered up with another guy out in LA, Long Beach, actually, an old partner, former partner. And yeah, man, we kicked it off, bro. And ever since then, man, I've been taking them over to Hoop School all around the world, bro. We done been, wherever I'm at, bro. Like we took it up to Toronto. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes,
Took it
you
up,
did. Yes,
took it
you
up to
did.
T Dot. Yeah, I went up there twice. Actually, I went up there a year after that. Shit, we done been to the Bahamas. You know what I'm saying? We in Asia continent. You know what I'm saying? The African continent. So Moe Ager Hoop School is a basketball enrichment program, man. It's just to, help kids, develop who they are. Develop their enrichment skills through basketball. And I get a chance to speak to the kids and help them, expand their consciousness through hoops. Yeah, it's a good deal, man. I'm grateful for it.
I actually
I'm
think
grateful for it,
I actually think you're a perfect person to do what you're doing as far as the hoop schools, because you have the success of making it as far as going to the NBA, but you also have this other side of you where it's like it's not all about making it to the NBA. You know what I mean? So you're gonna give these children a balanced view. You know what I mean? As opposed to maybe somebody who only wants to talk or thinks about basketball. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm really big on that for sure, man. I'm definitely big on conscious building, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that they understand things from a quantum point of view and that imagination. That's my main thing when it comes to children, is making sure they keep their imagination. Because, a lot of times, adults, they tend to lose it when they get a little older, and they stop operating from that
Well, that's why you
imagination
said.
state.
That's what you said. It's been written in the Bible. It says, "Be childlike, but not childish." And that's what you
Yeah,
spoke on about, not but that inner child of yours, you still have that within you. You know what I mean? That's why
sure. Definitely.
you could speak and resonate with these children, because some of these adults, they suppress that inner child within them. You know what I mean? They think certain things is beneath them. That's childish. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
I stay acting silly with my children.
Yeah, man. Even on Instagram, I'm always having fun over there. Uncle
I see you. I see
Slide.
you on the Moe Ager show. I see you. I see
Yeah,
you.
be
You
having
know what I
fun
mean?
with it, bro. It's like, you gotta have that balance, man. It's like,
Yeah.
it's very important. It's very important that you continue to stay. Like, I think another person who you had him on your show, some my boy Black Dot.
Yeah, Black Dot, that's the God.
Yeah, he's we already know he's very tapped in, but he's super silly.
Yeah, yeah. You should. He has a show with his son. Um, that was it. I can't
Urban
remember.
X.
Urban X, sorry. Yeah, he has a show with Malcolm. I listen to them religiously, yo. So yeah, I know that God's
Yeah,
the God, yo. You know what I mean?
I love that show, man. I'm
As,
actually a
as,
member.
as studious as he is, yeah, he could get really silly.
Nah, and it's dope because I like their show because of the simple fact that I know they both conscious. I know they both aware. They understand everything that we know about, you know, the ins and outs of the world that we living in.
Yep.
You know, I mean, not to say that we know it all, but I'm just saying it's
Oh,
like
we
I would
know
say that we tapped in. You know what I'm saying? And he's definitely tapped in. So it's good to see him like talk about everyday issues from a very humorous place. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
We all know
yes,
it's bullshit. We just kind of like, all right, you know,
yes.
but it is just kind of like, it's dope to see how he's able to balance out, metaphysics with, what you may call hot topics
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, yeah,
day
yeah.
to day shit.
What's trendy? What's trendy? So yo, right now, if people don't know, you're like in Vietnam. Like this, like right now, there's a 12-hour differences. But for me, it's like middle afternoon. For you, it's like middle of the night, no?
Yeah, yeah, it's almost midnight here.
So tell them why Vietnam. You out there. Why Vietnam?
Yeah. See, that's a part. That's all a part of the journey. You know what I'm saying? Just moving from, the NBA space. Moving out to Los Angeles, living out there, and then eventually, getting the opportunity to come out here and work in China. I lived in China for a year. Well, maybe 8, 9 months first before I moved here to Vietnam. But China was dope. I went out there for 8 months, lived like a rock star, party. Made a lot of music, had a lot of fun. And really had a really good time. I got a chance to because the year before that I struggled big time, man. I struggled big time and lost in Long Beach, man. My last year in America was rough, but I was always studying, staying tapped in. But it was a rough year for me. But so when I moved to China, man, it just felt like a breath of fresh air. I felt like a new start, a new chapter. And I did some of the things that I always wanted to do in terms of like when you see like Chinese movies and stuff like that, like I want to experience that. I wanted to see what it's like to go to the brothels and all the women come out, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to see that for myself. And I did, so and I was rapping everywhere, doing shows, having a good time, man. I was definitely a
Excellent.
rock star. But moving to Vietnam, it was definitely a, a transition that was amazing, and it was almost meant to be. I feel like Vietnam is more like it was more of a serious environment. Like China felt like an anime. Vietnam feels like I'm married. I got a wife here. You know what I'm saying? Got to it. You know what I'm saying? Creating and giving me it's giving me the freedom to be able to be as multi-talented as I am, and express it in many ways because there's just so many different resources. Um, the people here is amazing. Right now I'm writing a book called American Basketball in Vietnam. And I'm actually finished with the book. I'm actually finishing it now, but in terms of some last edits, because I'm actually editing it in Vietnamese as well. So um
Oh, are
yeah,
you
and I've been
familiar
able
with the
to
language? Have you adapted with the language? Can you speak it? Can you do your thing?
nah, I don't really speak it. I don't speak.
No,
Mm.
not even a one sentence,
Yeah,
not a sentence or two.
yeah, I can say a little stuff, but nothing to brag about or nothing to even.
Where's the washroom? Stuff
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. Toilet. And come
Hey,
on. So,
hey.
Vietnam is a beautiful country. It's a lot of freedom here. Everywhere has its problems, but these are problems I can deal with. I've been able to become whole here. Just living on that side of town, on a Western culture, and then coming out here in the Eastern. What I'm saying, I feel like I've been able to really, connect. As a whole. You know what I'm saying, and really connect some dots as and for who I am, and being able to study, research, see things for myself. Like I said, I met my wife out here. She's amazing. She's really, really strong woman. She allows me to grow, and she's very understanding. Um, the children out here is dope, and I've had an opportunity to come out here and and grow my businesses, and I'm currently active in that right now. So, Vietnam is amazing, man. I recommend anybody to come out here to visit, and just try to see what it's like, and see if they like it. But
Brother,
it's a cool place.
I'm getting my passport together. I'm gonna come out there, fam. Straight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
come out, I'm gonna come visit you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go check out what the day in the life of Mo out in Vietnam is like. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah,
so music wise, if people don't know, you actually were considered for a Grammy. Post NBA, you really got into the music. In fact, you worked with Dr. Dre, as I spoke about earlier with Eminem. So that's that Eminem connection. So speak on working with Dr. Dre and then that Grammy nomination you got. I mean, consideration you got.
Yeah. The Dre experience was cool, man. Got to go to his studio. He had some things popping there, man. You know, it was always a party over there. So it was always pretty hectic. But one thing I will say is he left me with some great advice. You know, he basically told me because he used to work with a guy I consider my uncle. His name is Butch Smalls, which is the father of one of my best friends, Carlin Small, and he was a percussionist for Dr. Dre, Mariah Carey,
Okay.
Four Tops. You know, and he worked with Doggy Style, Dog Pound. And I told Dre that that was my uncle, and he took a little liking to me. But he basically told me, in my music, he's like, you want to improve your music, man, just start adding live instrumentation to it, and that'll definitely bring your music out. And that's when I actually started, hitting up Butch again. I'm like, yo, I need you to play live over my beats and stuff like that. And that situation didn't last long. I feel like I got what I needed to get out of it. The environment was, just wasn't my speed like that, just because it was too many yes men around, and I just couldn't deal with that. You know what I'm saying? So
Plus, it's
I broke
Hollywood.
off.
That's not. That's not. I feel like Hollywood does not agree with who you are spiritually. So I get it. You know what I mean? That's a Hollywood.
Bro. Yeah. I left the NBA and went to Hollywood and kind of experienced almost the same. Hollywood is like, once again, I had to go find that out on my own, man. I was really pursuing music heavy out in Hollywood and discovered a lot of things. I had fun, but it like you said, it's just it wasn't. It's not a long term thing for me, man. It's
We
not
know.
compatible with my soul. Period.
Straight,
Yeah.
straight.
So, yeah. Then the Grammy consideration, man, that was a blessing, man. My first album, a song called "Far From Home," which technically I was far from home. You know what I'm saying? Creating out in L.A. Shout out to my boy LP. You know what I'm saying? LP, he the one that actually started tapping me. Really, you know what I'm saying? Man, he used to build on the more science heavy. So shout out to him. Shout out
Straight.
to G Curtis on the hook, J Peso. But yeah, that song came after I had a weekend at Michigan State. So we had a homecoming game, and I was set to perform on that Friday night, right? And we planned it. Get ready to have a performance. Long story short, nobody shows up to the performance, bro. I
Wow.
stayed in the backstage for like dang near 2 hours, bro. Nobody pops up, nobody shows up. So I ended up leaving, going to I had my people's fly on drive up from Detroit, whatever. So we ended up going to some parties around town. So yeah, that was a tough one, bro. Just to go back to Michigan State, nobody show up for your show. You know what I'm saying? But I remember being cool about it. I ain't snap on the promoters. I'm like, all right, forget it, man. We about to go party, have a good time. We not go, we ain't gonna let this go to waste. I'm not here
No,
all the
no.
time. So I get back to LA on Monday, and I end up doing like I volunteered at a basketball camp. And when I was leaving the basketball camp, my boy LP called me. He was like, "Yo, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, one of our songs got nominated. It's considered for a Grammy. Grammy." I'm like, "What?" And I didn't believe it. And then he sent me all the information, and I was like, "Damn, that's crazy."
Wow.
Just to kind of see the how the duality worked out. You know what I'm saying? I go to Detroit, because they ain't give me no love, bro. Then on Monday, I'm nominated for Grammy. You feel me? So that's kind of how that came about. I feel like that was like
Yo,
a
that's it. That's
gift
thing.
from the universe for sure.
That's one of those things about life where you just gotta go like this. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just doesn't make sense, yo. It doesn't make sense. So aside from drafting you, what did you learn from Mark Cuban?
Just entrepreneurship for sure. Like um for sure. Just being very well versed in whatever it is you're doing. Have more than one thing that you because we all got multiple talents. Utilize all of them.
Mm.
And if you can actually turn them into a business, why not? He showed me that early on because I used to sit by him every night. I'm sorry, every flight. A home away game. So I would actually sit right by him, man, and just kind of pick his brain, see him on his phone all the time, on his sidekick. Just I'm like, damn, we flying in the air. Like, when you got the signal? Like, how you type? So he would tell me, like, I'm actually writing emails right now and just put them in my
Oh,
draft. So saving myself time for when we land, I can go ahead and just send out these
he's
30
thinking
emails.
ahead. He's thinking ahead.
Yeah, he was always thinking ahead. And And I believe he always respected me because I was always intrigued about some of his business ventures, how he became who he became in terms of a businessman, you know. So I always appreciate Mark Cuban for sure.
Yeah, he seems like a cool. Like out of all the owners, he seems like one of the most down to earth one out of all of it. You know what I mean? I
Always
think
show love, man.
I think the guy in the Clippers, he's all right too. The Clippers owner is cool. You know what I mean? So yeah, I want to talk about baby fat water, right? But before we get
Yeah,
into that, I want you to touch on the health issues you had that led you to taking your health serious. As far as you know what I mean, because I remember you were telling the
yeah,
story
for sure.
about your gut, you have some issues with your gut, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, stomach problems. Yeah, like I guess like roughly around 3 years ago, I was having problems with my pancreas and my appendix. My appendix was inflamed, so I went to the hospital to see about it. You know what I'm saying? I waited to the last minute. You know how we are, bro. We ain't trying to go in those places. So it's like I'm getting a sharp
Guilty.
pain on the side of my yeah, I'm getting a sharp pain on the side of my stomach for like weeks, damn near months. So I finally was like, no, I need to go see what's good with this. I was doing research, trying to, do home remedies, and it was going away, bro. So I ended up having to ride to the hospital. And then when I get there, bro, I had other issues as well. Like they like test me for like glands around my neck because my neck was like swollen. I wasn't even paying attention to that because I was already struggling with this pain. So my shit was all swollen. And they did some more MRIs on my chest. I had lesions on my lungs, bro. Then
Whoa,
my stomach had IBS. My pancreas was 7 times over the limit, and I had an inflamed appendix, bro. I was like, dang, bro, I'm about to die, bro. Like,
you're in bad shape.
I felt like, man, crazy
All
part
in,
about it, I was on a
all
health
in
journey. Like,
partying, all in partying.
I was eating vegan. Yeah, yeah, for sure. That definitely plays a part. But cheap ass beers and shit like that. But like smoking, smoking, yep, all that. So, um,
So you took matters into
yeah.
your
So
own
fast
hands.
forward, bro. Yeah, but when I was hurt, when I got sick, I was actually at least 6 months just no meat, just vegan. I was actually on a. I think by me cleansing at that time, it kind of like revealed a lot of the health issues anyway. But I was still smoking a lot. Um, I was still drinking beers. I was kind of off the hard liquor. But yeah, that was right there. You know what I'm saying? I ended up having to take a bunch of medicine, bro. And, yeah, that led to actually me and my wife got together around that time as he was looking out for me, you know what I'm saying, making sure I had these juices and stuff on deck. So we got together around that time when I was really healing. And then a year later I ended up having to go to the hospital again for a gastric infection, which was that shit right there was a beast, bro. And meanwhile, remember when I had the appendix flare up, I should have took it out a year before. I never took it out. I was like, because the pain stopped, right? So I ended up going to the hospital, you know what I'm saying, for the gastric infection. We had to do a procedure to fix that. And then it was like before I had to leave, they got that done at night, bro. I'm like, all right, cool, I get to go back home. So there's like, let's do one more test on your appendix just to make sure that's good. I'm like, all right, whatever. So they do an MRI on it. Come to find out, that boy was damn near about to burst. Like it was
Wow.
like maybe minutes to an
But
hour or so.
you wasn't feeling the pain. You wasn't feeling the pain.
I wasn't feeling that, but I saw a picture of it. I was like, yikes. So we was actually in the taxi on the way home. Then the doctor called my wife, like, yo, he has to come back right away. They took
Oh,
me right
word
into
is that bad? Then you have to make a U-turn. Like, yo, we need to get to it now.
yeah, I was 1 foot outside the door. Like we was literally we didn't leave the hospital yet. We was in the taxi though. They called her. He's like, yeah, tap back in. You know what I'm saying? We went
You
back
ain't
in there.
going nowhere.
So I ended up spending like, I don't know, over a week in the hospital. We
Wow.
moved back. And from that point, I was like, yeah, I really gotta. And then, I was already into herbalism, so it was like it was nothing for me to like, create something that I felt like I can use. And then I was like, every ingredient in here is like it's known. People know what this is. You know what I'm saying? Versus like Sabies. You know.
You had these health issues, right? And then
Hmm.
that got you to focus hard on your body and so on and so forth. So right now, what's your diet like? Like what do you do? Like are you vegan? Like what you drinking still or smoking?
Nah,
What is it like now? Because I know there's a balance. Like you know what I mean? Like you can still be healthy and smoke a little and drink a little and be healthy.
definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So what is your down your balanced diet like now?
Yeah, right now, no drinking. I stopped drinking. So I'm not smoking. Um, I stay away from meat pretty much. You know what I'm saying? I slipped up a little bit today. That's why I'm feeling a little weary today, bro. But yeah, I still, if I ain't gonna lie, yeah, you got me a little bit. But I still rock with the fish, bro. I still rock with the fish.
Okay.
I'm still tapped in with the alkaline water, spring water, the baby fat water, fruits, vegetables. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I try to do is I try to eat right for my blood type. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So
Okay. Speak on that.
yeah,
Speak on that. Eating for your blood type. Why is that important?
yeah, that's actually one of the more accurate diets I've actually partaked in. You know what I'm saying? In terms of just because everybody, we have these blanket diets and everybody think that everything's supposed to work for everybody, but like there's certain foods that your blood type is not fucking with. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta figure out your most importantly, you know what I'm saying, you gotta find out your blood type. A lot of people don't even know what their blood type is, and that's a part of knowing self. So it's like once you figure out your blood type, you know what I'm saying, you can actually go online and just figure out all the beneficial foods for your blood type, all the things that's neutral, all the things that's avoidable. And even with the baby fat water, along with that, we put together programs for people, you know what I'm saying, in terms of like, different foods that'd be good for them, so we put a regimen for them, workout regimen, things that, that might be beneficial for whatever their goals are, you know what I'm saying, in conjunction with the baby fat water. So, eat right for your blood type is very, very dope, man. I feel like more people should tap in on it because, some people are allergic to things and they don't even know why, but if they knew what the, like, oh shit, damn, I didn't know I was avoidable, it'd be, it might be fucking like for me, I need to avoid avocados.
Mm.
And for most people, that's actually good. But for me, you know what I'm saying, that might make my goddamn face swell up, you know what I'm saying? So it's
Wow.
like I need to stay
Yeah.
away from that. Chicken, avoidable. Pork, avoidable. You know what I'm saying? And it got drinks as well, like liquids. It's avoidable. For me, red wine is actually good for me. You know what I'm saying? Whiskey and stuff like that is actually okay, but to eat right for your blood type is definitely, it's good for you. Even if you don't go by it to the T, at least if you're like really knowledgeable on what things that you should be avoiding, you'll know why you start to feel certain ways when you eat certain foods because it might be, incompatible with your blood type.
Now I noticed that lately. For me personally, it's funny that you mentioned that you had that stomach issues for a couple of years. I noticed that with me personally, like even just eating late, like I'm trying to avoid eating late altogether. Like I want to stop eating after 6. If I'm gonna eat, it's fruits and peanuts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's what I'm gonna eat. You know what I mean? And then trying to stay away from the sweet stuff and all that salty, chips and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah,
So I
that's tough,
know.
huh?
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
get this. You gotta get
Y'all,
this.
y'all got some. You cook vegan food, don't you?
Yeah. Five principles cuisines. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you already tapped in with it. You good. I remember
Yeah,
when we was up
yeah.
there.
Oh, for
That food was
sure.
fire, bro. Shit, if I can get my hands on that consistently, bro, like that right there is the lick.
Don't
So,
worry. When I come out there, I'm gonna cook something for you out. You know what I mean?
yeah, no doubt.
When you come back to visit us, I got you. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be.
You don't eat no fish, do you?
No. Those were all progress. It started with stop eating meat. Then I stopped eating chicken. Then uh then I stopped eating fish. Then dairy was the last thing. Dairy was hard. I won't gonna lie. Dairy was
Yeah,
hard.
man.
You know what I mean? But eventually, like for me, and plus I'm lactose intolerant too. So like
Damn.
dairy was really messing me up. So before I really cut out dairy, man, I had bad asthma attacks. Bad asthma attacks, Like I used to end up in the hospital and stuff. You gotta give me a mask and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But as soon as I cut out the dairy, shit, all that stuff, asthma's gone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
That's kind of why I don't really smoke as much no more, man. It's like eventually my asthma start kicking in again. Like,
well, you know what? What's also good to help you to always heal if you're gonna smoke is a sea moss. The sea moss.
mm,
I put that sea
mm,
moss in my smoothie. Like I have a bottle of smoothie on deck all the time, and in that smoothie is sea moss. So that helps with that smoker's cough. You know the smoker's cough, all that phlegmy
yeah,
you
for
feel in
sure.
your chest. Yeah, it gets rid of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, also I don't smoke that much anymore. Like I do a weekend thing. Like I stay away from smoking during the week. Friday, Saturday, I'll smoke a little. I'm talking about like maybe a joint or two. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I'm more like the edibles. I like the edibles, man. That's my thing.
yeah.
That's been my thing for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, for
I
sure.
like the edible high.
So let me ask you a question. The baby fat water book, is it what is it about? So is it gonna touch on helping people with their blood type and what they should avoid and so on and so all this stuff you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't put those details in there. Those are actually those are part of the regimen. So whenever you purchase the book, you know what I'm saying, you get in contact with me, you know, so we sit down, you know, do a consultation, I get a chance to get it, you know, hear what your goals are and you know, I'll write a plan for you and then, you know, figure out your blood type and then I put that into the report. But the baby fat water, it's a manual actually. You know, I give a story about like same like tonight, you know, I give you a story about you know, what made me, you know, actually write the book, you know, some of my pain, my struggles. And you know, and it shows you how to do it yourself. It's just a manual. I got all the ingredients in there, step by step, all the measurements. I have a children's story in there as well, you know, just to get them acclimated to the importance of your stomach health, you know, teaching them that our stomach, you know, that's where our intuition is. So it's like I'm getting a chance to, you know, get them started early. It's a short story, you know, but nonetheless, the book is it's a short read. It's really just a manual, you know. So I don't want people to think it's a novel or nothing like that, but it's definitely an instruction manual for you to actually create this wonderful potion yourself at home. And
Mhm.
yes, I just figured, you know, it got to a point where I feel like, okay, how can I serve a purpose for a broader audience? You know what I'm saying? Not everybody want to listen to music, you know, or, you know, they might not necessarily like my music. Not everybody's going to like basketball. I'm like, but what does everybody need at this present time during this new stage in life that we're moving into, this new golden age, this Aquarian age? I'm like, how can I help efficiently? You know what I'm saying? I was like, here we go. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's when I came up with this product. I'm like, this is something that everybody can use. You know what I'm saying? Even if they don't use baby fat water, I'm still putting them on code that it's time to cleanse
Mhm.
because as the planet and you know and our atmosphere and the universe continues to rise up, the energy continues to go. We you got to be able to rise up with it, and a lot of people will be able to because you know they're taking cleanses, whether it's baby fat water or any type of cleanse. I'm just putting you on code. You don't have to deal with baby fat water. I'm just literally like saying this is what time it is. You dig what I'm saying?
You're a beacon, fam. You're a
And
beacon. You're a beacon.
yeah,
That's one thing. That's one thing I gather from what your mom taught you. You know what I mean? It's like it's to be a servant. You know what I mean? You have the spirit. You have the spirit of to serve others. You know what I mean? And you can tell by your journey and the choices you made in life. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They were selfless decisions. You know what I mean? Even when things kind of got hectic with you with playing in the NBA and realizing that everybody got their hand out, and you know what I mean? And the fun is no more.
yeah,
Even then, you still went on to help others. You didn't become bitter and just say, "Yo, people just want to use me," and and so on and so forth. You pivoted and said, "You know what? I'm gonna help in other ways, as opposed to just being a cash cow." You know what I mean, for these folks out here. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I
It's very
respect
true.
that. I respect that. If you could send a message to your younger self, what would you say?
I would definitely teach my young self about balance.
Mm.
For sure, it would definitely be more so balanced, you know, just in terms of. But I don't know if I would have received it just because I was always like, nah, I gotta get there, gotta work, work. You know, I didn't even go to my prom in high school. You know what I'm saying? I was that locked in. I didn't do school dances. I didn't party at all. I didn't do none of that. And quite
Me
frankly,
too. I
looking
wasn't
back,
playing basketball, but I didn't go to none of that. You know what I mean? I didn't go to
man,
that.
I mean, maybe I just wasn't into it as much. But looking back, maybe I could have dibbled and dabbled. But you know, once again, bro, if I were to tell my younger self something, I would like definitely, you know what I'm saying, master balance. You know what I'm saying? And, but once again, mastering balance that has to come with, you know, experience, you know, ups and downs and you know, hardships, learnships. That's how you actually tap into, you know, recognizing how important it is to be balanced out here.
For
But
sure.
if I had to, you know, yeah, that would be it. I would definitely, you know, I would have planted that seed a lot early on. We was either, you know, either you 100 miles per mile or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I was always 100 miles per hour. So I feel like I probably could have, you know, balanced things out a little bit more. You know, so once I got to college, I wouldn't feel so um sheltered in certain aspects. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Although I was always kind of a freelancer, but um, you know, my first drink probably would have been, you know what I'm saying? But once again, man, I think everything happened for a reason. So it's like I really can't. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think everything happened the way it was supposed to, bro.
For sure, for sure,
You
for
feel me?
sure.
I probably wouldn't have trusted so many people. I would have been like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You gotta watch who you trust. Yeah, that's what I would tell myself. It's like, man, watch
Yeah,
who you trust in, you know.
for sure, for sure. Um, just to close out, I appreciate you, Mo. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
I see the work you're doing. You know what I mean? I see you with the Maurice Ager show. I see you got the apparel for your brand. So y'all check that out on Instagram. You know what I mean? But I got this one question: spiritually and mentally, how has this years in your avatar has had an impact on your evolution?
It's what I came here for. I came here to experience this portion of my evolution. You know what I'm saying? I've recently been able to tap into my, just different past lives and stuff like that, and it showed me a lot of things on what's more important now. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, when it comes to physical. You know what I'm saying? I feel like in past lives, we were really tapped in on physical goal. Now we need to be tapped in on spiritual goal. So as we continue to move forward in life, I'm learning more and more. I mean, I came here to experience. We need to get more really reacquainted back with our spiritual side. You know what I'm saying? As we, you know, evolve past the physical. I feel like a lot of people are scared of the transition period in terms of moving on to higher existence and ascending. But I feel like I'm at this space stage in my journey is where it's like the journeys I've been, the lessons have been pretty tough because me personally, I know that I'm evolving as a spirit being. You know what I'm saying? As a divine force. I believe us souls we come to this plane to eventually grow our own wings so we can become our own gods and still stay tapped in with the most high. Don't get me wrong, but we came here to be our own individual powers and our experiences and this resistance in this three-dimensional um, realm that we live in is allowing us to be able to do so because we have to, break through many things, you know what I'm saying, our own mental barriers. Some of the things that might, hinder us on the outside. Everything is here to help us. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we no longer have to look at anybody as an enemy like that because even our enemies are showing us who we need to be. Even our lower self give our higher self purpose. We wouldn't know good if we didn't have evil. So it's like in this game of life, we must, kind of look at these things and kind of not. We know how trash the government is. We know that, but at the end of the day, you know who you are because you know what that is. And quite frankly, if we all won, we have to be able to take full responsibility for the whole construct at this point. And I feel like a lot of people are having a hard time looking at it that way. And they still kind of like, we see a part of the game that's kind of like, I don't like that. But is it pushing you to become greater and to become the highest version of yourself? And if it is, it's actually your friend. You know what I'm saying? No matter how fucked up it is, bro. I mean, I get it, man.
Yeah, yeah. Like for me, like being incarcerated, it sucked. You know what I mean? Having a father that physically abused me when I was younger, it sucked. You know what I mean? But in the totality of it all, the person I am as a result of it, I get it. I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. It sucks. You know what I mean? There's blowbacks, there's issues that I deal with on a daily basis just from going through what I went through. But totality of it all, just like your journey in the NBA, everything happened for a reason. The journey in the music business, everything happened for a reason, and, and
Hmm.
and we can't just how they say throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was all there for a reason. Every last bit of it, man. It's even when you first come into consciousness, man, you raging, and then eventually you balance out.
Settle
You know,
down.
you start to like even though Budrala, you learn to love instead of hate. So even the so-called what you may call it the white man is like, I feel like a lot of our people are still holding on to that hate, regardless. And it's
First
crazy
of
because
all,
it's like that hate, that energy right there is a very heavy energy, and you can't carry that with you. And through
no,
your ascension process, it's very, what I'm saying, you might as well let that go, understand it, become an observer, become a master observer, learn how to observe things outside of judgment. That's another level of ascension. Being able to see things for what they are. Sacred geometry just isn't shapes. Sacred geometry is being able to see things from many perspectives. So if you can see things from many perspectives and then come into the ultimate perspective, which is the one right in the middle, and just kind of be, neutral about it.
It goes back to the balance. It goes back to the balance. It goes back
Always,
to the balance. It goes
I
back
think
to
it's
the
always
balance.
will go back to that.
It always goes
Especially
back to the balance.
Yeah, we in duality, so it's like it's always going to be one or the other. So, um, forgiving yourself, forgiving others is huge. Because once again, you can't carry that energy with you. The key is to get lighter as we get older. You know what I'm saying, and just get wiser.
Your heart's supposed to be light as a feather when judgment comes. You know what I mean? Which means like you're not supposed to be holding on to any experience you had in this world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your heart's supposed to filter everything for you. And then that filter, that heart of yours is supposed to remain light. It shouldn't have any residue from your experience. You know what I mean? So, but yeah,
that's why I tell you. Yeah, that's why I tell you to forgive and let go as much as you can.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? People be thinking that's like some corny, out of this world stuff, but it's like you actually doing yourself a favor because
there's a science behind it. There's a science behind it. There's a real science behind it. You know what I mean? Like I know a lady who her life, she just seemed like she was angry and bitter. She died of cancer not too long ago. You know what I mean? In pain.
Yeah.
So I feel like that has to do her the way she died has to do with the what she harbored inside within her. You know what I mean? Which manifested into cancer and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So yeah, you gotta learn to let go. You gotta learn to let go. We gotta learn to let go. You know what I mean? But yeah, Mo, just plug them in. Tell them how they can link you and what you got coming. You know what I mean? Let them know.
Man, definitely. Yeah, we got the Moe Ager, regular Twitter. That's MoeAger. That's my main page, and then I got the Moe Ager Show, which is pretty much production stuff, music, skits.
I see the skits.
Yeah. That's my fun page. That's my fun page.
Me personally, I like to see the Moors that way. You know what I mean? Sometimes we as Moors, we're like, like you said, we get into the information, we're just like, lead the charge. So, chill, relax, bro. Relax.
Yeah, it's a little bit too militant at times, and it's like we gotta be able to we always guard in our heart and stuff like that, but ultimately, man, we can't take this shit too serious, man.
Nah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you got the book, you got the apparel.
Water. Yeah. Go cop the book, y'all. It's $18. It's a short read. It'll help you out for the rest of your life. I promise you. Reach out to me if you have any questions. You know what I'm saying? We're putting together programs for anybody that's interested in the program that we have going. Hopefully with some hard work and some good dedication, luck, and some divine timing, the product will be on shelves at some point in time. But right now, we're just going to keep running because, the world needs to be healed, one way or another, and then it starts with a cleanse. And that belly is very important because that's where your intuition lives. It's your second brain. And I'm not an expert. I'm an enthusiast. I'm on a journey, and I'm learning whatever I learn. I share it. I share what I know. So tap in on the Moe Ager Show as well. On Twitter. I'm sorry, Instagram. And we shaking and moving, man. Stay tapped in.
Excellent, Mo. Like I said, brother, I appreciate you. You know what I mean? I see the work you're doing. I seen it first time working with the children. The children were very engaged when you came around. We're like, this man played in the NBA. They were like, antennas up. You know what I mean? As soon as they know you, they knew you certified. You know what I mean? That was
fun.
That was a dope experience. Hopefully you come back up soon and we run another camp. You know what I mean? Straight. Yep. And then once I get my passport, I'm gonna come out there. And I ain't joking, fam. I'm gonna come to Vietnam. You know what I mean? Because I see some pictures of Vietnam, and man, some place looks so picturesque. Like as far as nature go, oh my God. Yeah. I'm like, damn, it's beautiful out there. You know what
beautiful
I mean?
Place, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes, brother. Thank you again. 27th Letter Podcast, Moe Ager. Thank you. Islam, God.
Sure, man. Thanks for having me, bro. My man. Yes. Already.